In order to enable blockchain mass adoption, the next technological challenge to solve is supporting an extremely high volume of transaction with zero-knowledge proofs.
We feel like we're in a great place to move into this space with a gaming sidechain.
This is going to lead us onto something that we believe is going to become an ultra-active asset within the ecosystem.
Good day, Telosians and fellow blockchain enthusiasts. Welcome to the much anticipated Telos Evolved Town Hall number 2. I'm JT Bice, Telos co-founder and head of infrastructure, here to guide you through an adventure that's hopefully more exciting than trying to explain blockchain to your parents over the holidays. Today, we'll start out with myself and our CTO, Jesse Schulman, with updates from the TCD on what 2024 has in store for us. Jesse is the wizard behind the curtain, the man who speaks fluent blockchain. When he's not busy helping to revolutionize our cryptographic world, he's probably trying to teach cryptography to his cats. Then hold on to your hat because we're about to unveil our new scalable proof protocol using zero knowledge. This is the kind of tech that could play poker with a straight face while calculating quantum physics. Alberto Garofalo, our head of zero knowledge, will be enlightening us, and rumor has it, he might just reveal the secret to eternal happiness, or at least to more scalable and secure transactions on chain. After Alberto, we have Chris Waxa, head of design, and Justin Edwards, our head of gaming, and they will unveil the future of gaming at Telos, running on a brand new ZK EVM sidechain. And I hear that Justin Edwards is so good at gaming, he once beat a computer at tic-tac-toe. So that should be interesting. Leading this band of extraordinary individuals is Lee Erswell, CEO of the Telos Foundation. Lee is the kind of leader who can convince a pack of wolves into becoming vegetarians. And he'll be wrapping us up with final thoughts about our roadmap for 2024, a little bit of 2025, and then we'll bring everybody on stage for a little bit of community Q&A. So fasten your seatbelts, put your phones on silent, and let's embark on this journey through the world of Telos in 2024. If you're not excited yet, you might want to check if you accidentally left your enthusiasm in your other pants. And with that, let's bring on Jesse Schulman. Jesse, how are you, sir?
I'm good, JT. How are you?
Good. How's the weather in California?
It's a little cold. It was raining this morning, actually.
Really? That's kind of rare.
Yeah.
All right. So you and I are kicking this thing off with talking about EVM and our kind of the overview of what our 2024 and some of 2025 looks like. So we've decided that we're going to split up the roadmap a little bit differently than we have in the past. So you'll see here that we've got 4 different kind of swim lanes, we've been calling them, right? We've got SPP, the Scalable Proof Protocol, is something that we've basically invented. Then K218, that will be presented by Justin Edwards. That's what we're calling our new gaming sidechain. That's going to be really awesome. For one reason, we are going to be running it all on ZK EVM. We're going to be utilizing a lot of the work that Polygon has done already. We're going to be modifying it for our own needs and really using it to test out zero knowledge in Telos as we're developing the SPP right beside it. Isn't that right, Jesse?
Yeah. Yeah, very exciting. Really looking forward to getting that in action and testnet and putting all the pieces together.
Then last but not least, we'll be, and actually first, we'll be reviewing the EVM and Telos Zero, some of the changes that we've made there that we'll be implementing actually here before the end of the year. And then after that, a little bit about blockchain as a service and how we're really putting all of the pieces of this puzzle together so that we can implement something that is click button easy for people to be able to say, okay, I want my own zero knowledge sidechain. How do I do that? Where they can just go into a web browser and select the options that they want and boom, instantaneously have their own blockchain. All right. So EVM and Telos Zero. One of the things that we've done, well, I'll run through a few things that we've done for EVM first, as far as the system contract is concerned. If you're not familiar with Telos or the Telos EVM, Telos Zero is our base layer blockchain. It runs on a software called Leap, which is a part of a package called Antelope. So we actually run our EVM as a contract, a smart contract on Telos Zero. That really goes to show how powerful Telos Zero is, because of the fact that we can run an entire EVM as a smart contract. So some of the things that we fixed in 2023 and will be implementing on mainnet here before the end of the year is advanced print functionality for debugging, which has been something that we've had developers come to us in the past, say, hey, we really need to make this better. So we did it, and we'll be putting that in. Along with instruction set enhancements for Solidity developers. Jesse, do you want to go into a little bit of detail on that one?
Sure. So the latest Solidity version has a new opcode, the push zero opcode. So while it's not incredibly critical, it's definitely been something a lot of developers have come to us, said, I can't deploy this contract, and we just have to let them know to run the older Solidity version, but just adding support for the latest push zero opcode so people can run the latest version of Solidity when they compile their contracts is an important thing, and that's what we've done there.
Awesome. So the contract is also upgrading and probably adding additional pre-compiles and intrinsics updates that will give us a big performance boost. So for people that don't know, pre-compiles are like big math calculations that are too big to do in a smart contract. So we basically have the ability to do that math built into every EVM chain, and it's just called as its own smart contract. So we'll be upgrading there. Leap software compatibility. We've updated the CMake files to ensure that compatibility with Leap software moving forward, that ensures that our system remains adaptable and performs optimally. Feature version tracking, gas estimation fixes, trace and contract creation fixes, and then error messaging that we've had in the past, where it's kind of a default error message that can come up when developers are developing against our EVM. And this is going to give us more specific error messages for those app devs to understand what's going on. Then as far as the translator and RPC, EVM RPC are concerned, one of the things with Telos, since we didn't deploy the EVM contract until later in the chain, one of the things that a lot of EVM tooling will do is it will look for block zero, and it looks for early block ranges. On Telos, those don't exist until about 183 million blocks. So we've adapted the RPC now, where it will actually answer all of the requests for those early block ranges before the EVM existed. There won't be any data in them, but at least they're there, and it produces a block hash. New native state history consumer is allowing us to, you might want to take that one, Jesse, actually.
Yeah, so the EVM consumes the blocks from Telos Zero, and we implemented a new piece of software that consumes all those blocks off of a WebSocket that comes straight from Telos Zero, and we then index them and parse them into the EVM data that you need to satisfy the EVM RPC. So we just upgraded that to a new piece of software. It's faster, it's more standalone, it's focused purely on what we need for the EVM data. And it allows us to implement some of the features we wanted to implement on 1.5.
Okay.
And it also will be used in 2.0 for the new architecture.
Awesome. So another thing that we've changed and or really added additional feature set to is fork handling. So in EVM 1.0, we did have fork handling, but we found that it wasn't perfect. And with 1.5, I think that we've perfected our fork handling there, and will no longer cause issues, in addition to changing how our block hash algorithm works. So another thing that's changing in 1.5 is all of our block hashes will change. We are working with our partners right now on how they're going to tackle that, because we need to provide them the ability to go in and re-index with those new block hashes in mind. So know that that is coming. And then improved RPC response structures. Do you want to take that one, Jesse?
Yeah, so we went in, our EVM and our RPC is completely bespoke. We built it ourselves. So we didn't just take, Go Ethereum off the shelf and fork it. And what the result is that we get a lot of our attributes, our speed, our performance, decentralization, everything that we've built with Telos Zero is inherited by the EVM. But we had a couple inconsistencies when you're using the EVM RPC. The response structures weren't identical. So we did put a lot of effort into comparing Telos EVM with Go Ethereum side by side. We have a bunch of tests. We built a whole test suite that compares those responses and ensures that when you have a certain type of contract revert on the Go Ethereum RPC, you get the identical response structure on the Telos EVM, which most apps, most users don't even notice or see, but there's some tooling that people have built that really expects the exact response structure. And so by having it be consistent with Go Ethereum, it alleviates any kind of hurdles that developers might have when they're deploying, and ensures we're aligned fully with the standard, industry leading Golang based Ethereum client.
Awesome. So another thing that we did as far as Telos Zero is concerned, and this is most recent and fresh. So about 1.5 years ago, the community voted to change how block producer or validator pay works. And that is just really, as the Telos price goes up, if validator pay doesn't automatically move down, then validators are just paid gigantic amounts of money as far as US dollar is concerned, right? Because the amount of Telos that they earn doesn't change. So in about 1.5 years ago, a few people from the community came together and wrote a proposal to adjust validator pay based on the price of Telos. So we made some improvements to our oracles that keep a 7-day running average of Telos price to US dollar. And it goes in and will automatically adjust the Telos validator pay as the Telos price rises. This is really great from a community standpoint, because then they know that the validators have to continue to work instead of just leaning back on our laurels and making hundreds of $1,000s a month, which is how it was originally designed. So I think the community will really appreciate that one. Then as far as Q1 in 2024 is concerned, our main goal there is to implement OFT standards on our Layer Zero bridge. Jesse, why don't you talk about that a little bit?
Sure. So the OFT standard is the omnifungible token standard from Layer Zero. And it's a reference contract that allows applications to take existing tokens or deploy fresh tokens as a native OFT, meaning they're an OFT standard from launch, and integrate them into the Layer Zero messaging protocol, allowing those tokens to move cross-chain across the 30, 40, I'm not sure, a lot of chains,
Many chains. Yeah.
Definitely one of, if not the most adopted bridge protocol. So getting the Omnichain token integrated into Telos bridge.telos.net is the front end there, and allowing any app that wants to come to Telos to just let us know what their token contract address is. We can add it there to our bridge, and then anybody can go to that bridge UI and bridge those tokens seamlessly without any issues. Now, there are apps that have already done this. Shout out to Meridian and SwapSkull, I believe, as well, that have already integrated the Feed Your Monkey game as well, right? So we've got a handful of apps that have already implemented it in their own UI, but there's plenty of apps that don't necessarily want to build a bridge UI into their front end. And so for us, being able to just say, give us the contracts, we'll put you in ours is a really enabling thing for those apps, so they don't have to worry about any of the bridge UI technology.
Awesome. Speaking of Feed Your Monkey, how many bananas do you have?
I have a lot. I took a lot of them when the game first launched. I caught some other monkeys and took a lot of bananas when they were cheap and everybody had a lot of them.
Nice.
So it's a fun game.
So as far as Q2 is concerned, we plan on making many improvements to not only OBE, but also Teloscan. So OBE, for those that don't know, stands for Open Block Explorer, and that is our native Block Explorer. Teloscan is what we called our EVM Block Explorer. They are separate tools. We do have plans in the roadmap to eventually merge those tools together where we could get both Block Explorers in one app. That may come in 2025, but we're going to continue to make improvements for these two applications applications as we continue to scale Telos and allow us to really move towards that blockchain as a service, as we talked about earlier, where everything is click button. Like you want a block explorer, just click that button and we'll launch Teloscan for you, right? For your own zero knowledge blockchain. So those are the improvements that we'll be making in Q2 of 24 for those applications. Now about EVM 2.0, how about you take that one, Jesse?
Sure. So just looking at the picture here and mentioning, I would highlight EVM 2.0 is being worked on. It's just starting to be worked on now. It will be worked on throughout Q1, and it's only under Q2 as a milestone in terms of delivery. So Q1 is a lot of the time spent there will be on EVM 2.0. So it's just to be transparent about what we're doing in Q1 is not necessarily on the screen. It's what we're planning to deliver. So
good point.
EVM 2.0 is a heavy lift. It's a big project. We're really excited about it, and that's something we're hoping to deliver. In Q2 of 2024. It represents a whole new architecture for our EVM. As mentioned, we'll be still streaming all the data out of the Telos Leap node, the native layers network, and we're going to be integrating it into the Rust-based Ethereum client. That's it's like a new one that's very highly performant, very fast. It uses the modular technology that Aragon uses, so we can integrate and kind of scale out the RPCs. It also will be a very simple thing for node operators to run. And most importantly, what it gets us is full compatibility, because no longer will our EVM be something that we wrote from scratch. We'll be taking our blocks from our consensus layer, which is Telos Zero, where the EVM smart contract runs. We'll be feeding those blocks into this industry standard Ethereum client, which will then satisfy all of the EVM RPC requests with 100% consistency, because it really is the same EVM client that is being run on Ethereum and all the other networks. Yeah. So we're really excited about that. And we're also really excited to be, working with Rust. It's becoming a really popular programming language for blockchain developers, and it's
fast.
It's fast. It's very, as an engineer, it gives you very good comfort in terms of compiling and protecting you from memory leaks or certain types of bugs. It's very has really good boundaries. So that's why it's popular for blockchain software. It's something we'll be using as well across some of the zero knowledge work we're doing, because zero knowledge and Rust are very complementary there. So I'm really excited to be having some of our team get their hands on Rust and starting to build things in Rust, specifically 2.0 in this case.
Yeah, that's good. And then lastly, for delivery in Q3, Q4 kind of era, we've been talking quite a bit about granting people the ability who are Telos holders on the EVM to utilize that Telos to vote for our validators and in governance. Why don't you cover that one pretty quick here, Jesse?
Sure. So for a long time, the EVM users have had no access to vote for validators, because that is a functionality that has been since the beginning and is today only available to the native users that use the Telos Zero and have Telos accounts and not EVM addresses. So by allowing the users from the EVM to vote on validators, it really opens up, further decentralizes, and gives everybody an equal opportunity to participate in not just picking validators, but really by picking validators, you're helping contribute to the direction of the network. So picking who you feel is best to secure the network is important, and giving that access to EVM users, which really has demonstrated, the EVM has demonstrated where a lot of our activity is. So we want to allow those users to also have a say in the validator selection, as well as eventually, maybe as a second phase, we'll also open up for the governance voting, where you can vote on the governance amendments as well from the EVM. So they're two different voting systems. So we're going to focus first on the validators and then follow up with the governance voting as well.
Okay, awesome.
And I'll say that's also made possible by the EVM to native bridge, which is really the interoperability layer between the two, which we've built. We just haven't deployed it yet. So that deployment of the messaging bridge should come pretty soon, either, hopefully by Q1 of next year. And then that's the first step. Once we have that messaging bridge for interoperability, then we can build on top of that the voting, as well as token bridges and any other use case between EVM and Telos Zero.
Nice. Very good. All right. Thank you, Jesse.
Thank you.
Now we'll bring on Alberto Garofalo to talk about the Scalable Proof Protocol. Hello, Alberto.
Hi, JT, and thank you. Hello, everybody. Okay, so first of all, I want to announce that there will be a dedicated town hall in January on what you have heard so far with the code name SPP, so Scalable Proof Protocol. So this has been a code name that we use, but I mean, it will be revealed in the next town hall what's behind the scene. And as many of you already know, during these months, we have been working hard in stealth mode on a new zero-knowledge protocol that is going to answer the upcoming technological needs in order to enable blockchain mass adoption. And as anticipated in the previous town hall, zero-knowledge will be the game changer in turning blockchains, the decentralized applications, from the current niche, because, I mean, compared to the what could be the global adoption is a niche, to, let me say, to a scale, another scale. And so, in particular, we saw that most of the real-world use cases are not really possible with the current architecture paradigm. And so, blockchain mass adoption will need to protect user data. Otherwise, this will prevent the implementation of most of the applications and use cases. And you can switch to next slide, please. And so, just to make the most obvious example, you will never share your medical information with the whole world forever, because we're talking about this. I mean, if you're interacting with a medical application, for example, you need to provide all the data that the application needs to work. And because the interaction happens on chain, this means that the information stays on chain. And so the statements has to be verified on chain. And this means that you have to publish all the information that are required. And for example, in a medical application, I mean, it's not acceptable for anybody to publish all his data. And this data is going to stay there forever. But even in a simpler scenario, like a car rent decentralized application, you will never share with the rest of the world all your driving license information and personal data. I mean, I think it's not wise at all. And so this obviously does not work. So, I mean, this is for what regards protecting user data. But in addition to that, compliance with government rules is going to play a crucial role as well. And also in this case, zero knowledge is the way to go. So just with these two examples, it's very easy to imagine that almost each blockchain transaction will need a zero knowledge proof in the upcoming future. So, wow, okay. Now you have almost zero transaction with zero knowledge proof, and in the upcoming future, you will have almost every transaction having a zero knowledge proof to protect your data or to be compliant with some government rules. So, and not only government rules. So now you can envision that there will be a new upcoming technological challenge for blockchain mass adoption is supporting all these huge amount of transaction with zero knowledge proof. And this is, and the zero knowledge proof are going to play the same role that SSL played, let me say, in the initial phase of internet. I mean, if you remember at the time, you didn't have SSL, so you didn't have HTTPS. And so all the transactions were, let me say, plain data, and everybody can see what was happening on the network. And for this reason, many use cases were not possible because you wouldn't have never shared your information. It was too risky. But then SSL arrived, and okay, then became possible encrypted information, and then most of the use cases became possible, and internet boom. So zero knowledge in a totally different way. We're not saying that it's the same thing, but will play a similar role, will allow so many use cases that currently are not possible on blockchain to happen. And so this will be a revolution in the blockchain space. So with this vision in mind, in the last months, we have been working in stealth mode on a massively scalable solution for achieving this goal. And as you probably already heard, we have been working on the architecture on a completely decentralized protocol that makes zero knowledge massively scalable. And now we are about to release a technical white paper that is going to detail how the protocol works. I mean, we went really into details on the architecture of the protocol. I mean, working on even on the specification of the circuits that are going behind, let me say, below the protocol and how it works. But I mean, I cannot, let me say, go on and provide other details. But let me say, I cannot provide more details right now because the white paper is not yet published, but I can anticipate you that in January it will be published and we will grow a dedicated team in order to deliver a first version of the protocol already within 2024. And I'm speaking about the protocol that makes, let me say, zero knowledge able to massively scale. So I need to hold myself back from saying too much now. So I invite you to stay tuned for the next dedicated town hall in January, where we will go through all these details. So that's all from my side. Back to you, JT.
That's awesome. Thank you, Alberto, for that update. All right, next up, we've got Chris Waxa. Chris, how are you doing today?
Good, thank you.
Man,
excited.
I am so pumped to hear about this. Some of this is even new to me. So, you know, this is going to be great. I love it. I'll leave it to you.
Thank you. I've kept it under wraps. So before I get into Tetika, as you can see on screen now, I'd just like to say a massive thank you to the community for the support pre and post launch of the recent branding for Telos. Absolutely amazing to see all the positive comments. Thank you. So before we dive in deep here, I'm going to give a quick overview of what Tetika actually is. So Tetika is an interactive and journey-driven NFT collection. It's designed to reward you as you interact with the Telos network. Okay. But there is one big reward at the end of season 1, and it depends how far you progress with the Tetika journey will determine your token allocation for the gaming sidechain. So pretty exciting, pretty big reward at the end of this season. Ultimately, the more you interact, the more you will get. So this is a great opportunity. You know, you're hearing about this for the first time, as JT just expressed. Here and now, first time. Okay, so let's dive into it. The team. I'm working with a world-class team, and they are producing a world-class effort. You know, I wasn't going to go into too much detail about how we are working, but every single day we meet, we distribute a task. Within 24 hours, that task is turned around, and this is every single day. There's not a day off. The rate of progression is rapid, incredible. So from the NFT team, we have the big GUI, Shelly, and Jacob, and we also have Peter, our CMO, and Macy. Peter and Macy are working together mostly on the event planning, and they have some extremely exciting things lined up. And I wish I could tell you more about it, but I can't right now. But believe me, it'd be like nothing you've ever seen for Telos events. Amazing. Okay, next slide. So when we set out to create this NFT collection, we have had 3 goals in mind. Firstly, we wanted to reward the community. We wanted to, for all the actions that you do, you know, we're getting partnerships in weekly at this rate. We want to reward you for interacting with them. For the things that you do normally as you interact with Telos, you will now be earning a reward. Secondly, we wanted to create outreach. So I come from a marketing background, and this is an essential component to this product. So via proof of participation on social media, we're going to be creating so much noise that I believe Tetika and Telos will become almost a Web3 household name by the end of this campaign. And thirdly, identity. So we wanted something that you as a community member can latch onto something you're proud to show on your social platforms and really foster a strong community around this product. In my mind, I kind of see this this product on the same level as Bored Ape Yacht Club, for instance. So starting with the strategy, where do we begin? We start off with market research, and we took that and looked at 3 pillars in particular. We wanted to, well, we looked at urban fashion in Asia, and particularly in Japan and Korea. And what we wanted to do there was capture what makes those brands cool. So there's no other industry that does it better when it comes to having a brand association that is really encapsulates cool. So we managed to capture that by a large amount of market research into various brands. And I feel like we've bottled that up and we've poured and sprinkled that all over this product. Secondly, we looked at NFTs. We looked at what worked in this industry and what doesn't work, what's been really successful, and what are the unique aspects that are worth taking note of. And the third pillar was NFT gaming, not necessarily NFT gaming, but especially Web3 gaming, and most of them have NFTs in them. So because the main prize or the main reward of taking part in this collection is going to be the gaming sidechain token allocation, we wanted to make sure that our brand reaches out to the right audience or communicates with the audience correctly. So that part of the research was integral. Next, we looked at story and product. And now these two aspects work hand in hand. Without a good story, you don't have a good product. Without a good product, if you had a product without a story, it wouldn't be as interactive, or you wouldn't feel as you were getting into the product as much. So we really dived into a story here, origin story, the journey throughout. When you're earning rewards, why is that happening? Does that make sense? And we came up with a story that we think will really resonate with you. And then when it comes to product, there's various aspects, the technical requirements. What will the website look like? What's the user journey going to look like? Everything's been taken into consideration. And we're nearly there, nearly complete with our product at this stage, but it needs to go into production soon. So we've got our strategy and our planning in place, and we're looking to get that into actual production. And we've also started to touch on go-to-market strategy. We've got some exciting ideas about how we're going to launch this campaign, but as well, we've got some extremely exciting events lined up as well. Okay, so I'm now going to dive into the origin story, and I'm just going to scrape the surface really. I think we're at the stage now where we could create a Wikipedia entirely based upon the story we have got here for the Tetika. I'll read this out. In a shadowed world where corporations tighten their grip on the life-sustaining elixir called drip, an inventor known only as the Prof unveils a mask designed to transmute drip into an ethereal gas, allowing for more efficient consumption. As whispers of this revolutionary device spread, corporations cast the Prof and as a disruptor, driving him and his outcast followers into the subterranean depths. Beneath the surface, amidst the echoes of corporate oppression, the Prof's clandestine society thrives. Their technology prowess burgeons, fueled by an unseen force that propels them towards an elusive utopia. Yet, when the dwindling reservoirs of drip plunge the underground into darkness, a cryptic message echoes from the beyond. In a haunting transmission, the departed Prof beckons the denizens of the hidden realm to rise. His spectral voice urges them to seek allies from the mysterious factions above ground, GameFi, DeFi, and SoFi. As the subterranean society stares with anticipation, a mystical quest unfolds, and the fate of both worlds hangs in the balance. So here you see the 3 rungs or 3 roads you can take as a participant in this Tetika journey. On the left, we have the Shadow Reavers, who are the DeFi tribe, and the Veiled Dragoons, the gaming tribe, and the Depth Phantoms from the SoFi tribe. And this is the first introduction to the NFTs. And as you can see here, some masks look more evolved than others. So once you have your base mask, the more you progress through the journey, your mask will evolve on your NFT. So what does the play experience look like? Well, players customize their masks, develop their characters, interact with tribes, and control drip for a rich experience. Real-world rewards and gear unlocks enhanced gameplay, empowering players to shape their own journey. So what do those tasks look like? What will you have to do to start earning rewards? Well, interacting with DeFi protocols on the network, that can be staking, swapping, for instance. You can also, for social finance, sharing news on social media, letting people know about your latest character upgrade, or perhaps you've minted something extremely rare that you want people to know about and show off. And you can also invite people to your tribe. So the idea towards the later end of the game will be to increase your tribe size, as there'll be intertribal competition for unique prizes, unique rewards. And from the GameFi task type, you'll be able to have exclusive gameplay experiences. So because of the partnerships that we have lined up, or we're looking to line up, and look, very exciting games out there, which Justin, I'm sure, will dive into a little bit. The exclusive tasks here are actually going to be really fun as well. So you will earn a reward at the end of every single task completion. And at this point, we're looking at possibly around 3 rewards per task completion, and it might increase. And what do those rewards look like? Ultimately, throughout your progression, you'll be gaining experience, and this will be directly correlated to your gaming sidechain token allocation. That's the ultimate reward. But there'll also be these milestones, which I just touched upon. So with our partners, you'll have exclusive offers with DeFi partners, and you'll have exclusive item drops and perhaps alpha testing, beta testing with our gaming partners. You'll also earn rewards in-game itself, which will be resources and perhaps boosters to help aid your progression. And thirdly, and very excitedly, we're going to talk about the in real life events. It's not just merchandise, but we have some really interesting gathering opportunities. I'll just call them that for now. So where are we at and where are we going? Well, I've covered mostly where we're at. And by the end of Q4, we're going to have our market research completely signed off. That's very close already. Our story is also about 90% complete. It's just tweaking and refining. And then as we go into next year, Q1, we're going to have the product into production. And we'll also have our go-to-market strategy all lined up and ready to go for Q2, as we prepare to mint. And what I'm very conscious of is making sure that we have enough time after the mint of the NFT collection for you as a user to progress enough to get the most out of the 2K18 token event for the distribution. And then around Q3, we're looking to launch season 2 of Tetika. We already have some ideas for that as well. So what can we do right now? Well, we've just opened up our Discord. So I'm going to be putting a link in the description. I'll also put it in the comment section when I'm finished presenting. But we're also looking for artists to join us. And we're looking for artists who will fit our art style that we've shown here today. And we're looking for people who are wanting to work for, in a long-term relationship. We envisage this product be an ongoing project. So if you head on over to @Telos_NFTs, if you're an artist, there's a competition on there at the moment where we are requesting users to submit their portfolios. Now, the journey for the Tetika doesn't end here. So introducing the gaming sidechain branding, K218. And we wanted to go for something really bold, something that resonates with gamers. And this industry itself, it's built upon bold principles. And if you're not being bold in this industry, what are you doing? So this will be, if you're familiar with the Telos homepage, the next planet in our orbit. And K218 is a real planet. I think it's located within the Leo star system, and it is within the Goldilocks range, which means it's has the potential for life to develop. But we today are probably here for the first, we are definitely here for the first time, but we are hearing for the first time today that there is in fact life on this planet, as the Tetika have had a warning signal received. And if you have progressed with the Tetika narrative at all, you will be going to Planet K218 to receive your gaming sidechain token allocation. How you get there may depend on particular partnerships. So I'll leave that open to your imagination. And now over to you, Justin. Thank you.
Thanks, Chris. And yeah, you've done some great work with the team. Really happy with the branding that you've come up with the team for our new token gaming sidechain K218. And yeah, it really feels like the stars have been aligning since we entered this new initiative at Telos. I'd like to just go back and just review, why we're actually moving into this space. So if you could move into the next slide, thank you. So really, some of the key points here is the emerging markets, and the Web3 gaming industry is on the rise. There's a lot of buzz within the industry that 2024 is likely to be the year that audiences increase. And as a result, the gaming market is picking up, and we can offer games a sustainable network and one for future scalability with ZK coming. There's also product market fit, which is really helpful to us. We're already, have games using our EVM and have a great product that games and studios love using. The feedback that we're getting from our customers suggests that they love using the tools and products, and studios who are on larger sort of competitive EVMs are coming to us as they're not getting the support and time that they need from their partners. So we're at a great place in order to take on more and more game studios on our platform. Also marketing, and so we have some great experience now in marketing games, coming from some of our previous projects and partners with Elixir and Altoro and other partners that we've been using. And we plan to evolve this and develop into a mature marketing unit. There's also the utility. So the sidechain will add utility from processing the token's gas fees. There'll be staking, and will be the currency of the launcher as well, which I'll come on to and talk about on the roadmap. So the token will also be running the economy of the launcher. And then there's bridging value. So the gaming sidechain will convert back into the main Telos token, bolstering the main token's usage, utility, and value. And there's also a side note here, which is the investment opportunities for us. Not necessarily needed to complete the project, but it's worth noting that we will be able to raise capital off the back of the new sidechain for further securing Telos longevity. And that will enable us to offer larger grants to some of the big games that we want to bring on board, and really allow us to compete with the best and bring over the best games. And so if we could move on to the roadmap now. So starting in Q4, just finishing up here, as you've seen, the branding is now complete, and that will evolve over obviously the course of the product development. But the team have done a great job in fitting that into the quarter we're just finishing up in. And as we look into 2024, in Q1, we'll be kicking off in early January the tokenomics and white paper, which were due to be delivered at the end of January. And we're in a great position to deliver this as we've brought in some additional support in the form of a professor from LSE, which is the London School of Economics, and his team, to really help us pull together smart tokenomics for our white paper. And then we move into Q2 2024 with this amazing new campaign that we've seen with the Tetika, and we'll be launching a website to support the Tetika project and really enhance the onboarding experience for the community to get involved in Tetika. And then towards the end of Q2, we'll be looking into the actual token generation events from a marketing perspective and really pushing that out to the community and to the external wider world, and giving the community more information about the airdrops that will happen around the tokens. And moving into Q3, obviously this is the time where we'll be working on actually launching the K218 side token MVP. And with that comes with the bridging tools that we'll be using to utilize the token back into the main token. And in Q4, there's this utility expansion. And so obviously after the MVP is released, we move into continuous development, and they'll be consistently updating on an ongoing basis, more and more utility, more and more tools for the token itself. And finally, towards the end of Q4, we'll have our launcher, which is really where we feel the home of Web3 gaming really kicks in, where our games that are currently using our EVM will be able to have a space to be promoted and a space where our community can come and game, where there'll be interactions with authentication systems, wallet systems. There'll be a marketplace, rewards, etc., and quests, and really gamify the launcher so that it really adds a lot of utility in future, worth building out that DAU and MAU player base so that everybody can come back and enjoy our great games. And with that, I'm going to move on to the main roadmap, JT, and hand over to Lee.
Thank you so much, Justin. That's really fantastic news. Looking forward to seeing more of it.
Yeah, can't wait.
All right. Welcome to the stage, Lee Erswell. Lee, how are you?
I'm very well. How are you, JT?
Man, I couldn't be better. This has gone great so far.
It's going very well. Now, that is a roadmap, right?
That's right. Yeah, I'll leave you to wrap it up.
No, I really appreciate it. Thank you, JT. Sometimes I kind of have to remind ourselves that the starting point of what we are at currently is so good. Like, we've got to ask ourselves as a community, what do we want from a layer 2 point of view? What do we want? We want cheaper transactions. We want quicker transactions. We want affordable smart contract deployment and high transactions from a second point of view, right? So TPS. And we have that already from a foundational point of view. And John obviously added some very key points over the weekend within the community groups. But Telos does everything these other Ethereum networks do, but much better. And that's our foundation. That's without taking into account our roadmap. Now you add into this roadmap zero knowledge proofs, gaming, the EVM updates from Jesse and the team at the TCD, as well as culture, NFTs, gamification, engagement across geographical locations. We're knocking down borders. I'm like, just wow. It's just a wow for me. And from a very high level point of view, what are my key takeaways from this roadmap? Telos EVM 2.0. That's a significant development for us. Why? People may ask. Maybe the community might not understand this, but from a dApp developer's point of view, they will. Telos 2.0 makes a greater environment for dApp developers. And it just, honestly, from a dApp developer point of view, not only do we get an environment where you've got smart contract development and deployment that is very affordable, with Telos 2.0, the environment is up there with everybody else, and if not even better. Then we have Tetika, which is a culture, gamification, a community connecting point of view, where we connect east to west. Because we're not only taking Japanese kind of design ideologies, but we're also working with the market research that the team have done, where how the other side of the world connects to those brands as well. So everything's been deliberately thought out. The gaming sidechain, and next thing, obviously, I'm really proud of this because obviously Justin was my first appointment as CEO, and he is really making significant progress on this side of the development of our ecosystem, with not only the sidechain, the airdrops from the sidechain token, but also with onboarding the best level of games into our ecosystem as well. Because what's kind of close to my heart, I remember like Nintendo's. My first computer was a Spectrum Arcadia. So I was there right at the start, right? And I've witnessed how gaming's evolved. And the next level of involvement is Web3 gaming. And how do we onboard the next Web2 users? And how are we actually going to have this kind of adoption for Telos? We need to understand the Web2 gamer first and the onboarding process to make sure that it's a seamless journey from a tooling point of view. But then more than anything else, we need to ensure that we're thinking gameplay first. Not these play to earn, unsustainable type of games. Gameplay first. The game has to be enjoyable as a priority number one. Then, obviously, the jewel in our crown, which we've hung our hat on, is zero knowledge proof technology with Alberto. At the end of the day, I just think my Siri just kicked in, so I do apologize. But the jewel in our crown is Alberto with zero knowledge proof technology. And from my point of view, I believe this is which is going to lead us on to blockchain as a service and the additional use cases that we're going to actually be able to bring to the Telos ecosystem, where we have that level of client, where we become a technology provider to this wave of use cases that are going to come into the Web3 environment. I'm highly excited around this. And I've got to say, based on the ideas and the white paper that's going to be released in the early part of 2024, is really, really exciting. And also what that does, it also opens up the business development uses for us as a team as well, where we can now start talking to a different level of client to onboard them. And then JT and Jesse were talking earlier on within the presentation about having this one-click function of creating a blockchain, setting your parameters, what you exactly need. And obviously compliance is one of those big things, as well as obviously the additional use cases as well that comes with that as well. And from my point of view, I'm just so proud of the team that we have. And this has been a collective effort. This has not been one individual. This has been a whole team. Literally, since I joined, this roadmap has been worked on day and night and really been thought out. It really has. And I'm really proud to be sitting here today as the CEO of Telos, presenting this to you guys. And I'm really bullish going into the new year. And I'm really excited of the journey that we're about to go on as well. So I want to thank you all guys for tuning in today. And now, JT, we're going to open it up to Q&A, right?
Yes, sir. That's exactly right. Let's bring everybody back in. All right. We're all here. Very good. You know, I think I probably want to start with one of the questions that came up in the chat just here recently. And that is a question about whether or not we should continue development on Telos Zero. Jesse, what do you think about that?
Yeah, so very good question, and I can understand where it's coming from. The EVM has been a big focus of ours because that's where there's so much developer adoption and so many users that already have the EVM wallet and address. And it really is where DeFi thrives because of the, existence of Uniswap forks and everything. So that being said, we do have the message bridge that we've mentioned earlier, and that's going to allow true interoperability between Telos Zero and Telos EVM. So they're kind of two modular networks or pieces of technology operating on the same base layer consensus that is Telos native, Telos Zero network. And all of the zero knowledge things that we're going to do on Telos Zero and Telos EVM, they will be available to use native for. So I would say absolutely not. There's definitely going to be more opportunities to interoperate between the EVM and the native network, allowing you to use the EVM possibly for doing DeFi related activities, getting the liquidity for your project that you need, but then back on native, using it for its strengths, which is, we have the feeless transactions. An application can pay for the user's transactions, so the user doesn't have to worry about that. The Feed Your Monkey game we talked about earlier is a great example of that. He allows the users on the EVM to stake their bananas in the game on native, and you can play that game without wallet prompts, but it's all on chain. There's so many opportunities, I think, to interoperate there and use each technology for what they're best suited for. And then beyond that, all the layer 2 chains that we're hoping to onboard, in the plan that we talked about, there's just going to be so much synergy between them. I think that native continues to play a big part in that. And all the features, again, that we're going to build ZK related for the EVM, they have to come through native because the EVM is a smart contract on native. So it's all still the same network and should have the same functionality. So there's a lot of reasons to continue to work on native.
Agreed. Next question from the community. Which part of the roadmap has the most potential to bring new eyes to the Telos network? And what are you most excited about? For anybody to answer. Waxo, what are you most excited about? Oh, I think you muted. Here.
Yeah, that would help. Sorry. Yeah. I think the Tetika campaign is going to have a massive impact. I mean, we've seen the recent results from, say, Portal and their social campaign. What we have here is a story, a narrative, a real reason to interact with people via social media. And I think the impact is going to be massive. But yeah, it's what I hope for. It's what we're going for.
Yeah. Awesome. What about you, Alberto? What are you most excited about? I have a guess. Oh, I don't know.
I think that
okay.
So
we might have some connection issues.
I think that I already expressed.
Yeah. We'll move on here. Sorry about that, Alberto.
Can you hear me now?
Might be having some connection issues. Lee, how about you answer this question here from the community? How has the first 2 months been as CEO of the Telos Foundation?
I'll be honest, it's been a whirlwind. Obviously, coming into a new organization where you guys have achieved so much already and just trying to add to the foundation that has been worked upon was really hard. And we've settled in. We've defined what we want to deliver in 2024 and 25 now. And I'm really, really happy with it. And I've got to say, I'm just proud of the team, JT, in all fairness, because they've adapted to maybe some new ideas. And collectively, I feel that we're all working together with the same end goal, which is greater adoption of the Telos blockchain, because that's what we're here to do, right? We're here to help grow this network and bring new users into the ecosystem and to create a fantastic environment for dApp developers. I truly believe that everything that we're doing is going to ultimately achieve that. And yeah, I'm just really proud of the team. Just really, really proud of the team.
Awesome. Next up, what have been the biggest challenges when creating the roadmap for the next stage of the Telos Network? Ooh, man, that's a tough one. We've probably gone through maybe 6 iterations of this over the last month, maybe month and a half. So I think that as far as challenges that I've experienced, is just all the change that's happening and all the things that everybody wants to do. We've got so many ideas. We've got so much involvement. We've had so many meetings, and trying to just, get it tuned down to what we've presented here, I think has probably been the biggest challenge. What do y'all think?
I totally agree, JT. Sometimes everybody has great ideas, but what we need to do is remain laser focused on the tasks at hand. This is why I believe breaking it down into swim lanes is a really good idea. So we have people laser focused on each deliverable. So we can have the utmost productivity and ensure that we meet the deadlines and the roadmap objectives over the next 12 to 24 months.
Mm-hmm. That's good. Jesse, I think we've got one that's meant for you here from the community. Does the team see interoperability with other networks and chains as an important part of the future of the network?
Yeah, absolutely. So even in context of the last question, that was the biggest challenge. There's so many things we want to do, and to just focus them, and they're all good ideas. They're not all good ideas, but we have so many good ideas that didn't make it, right? And so we've had to figure out what is not only the most top priority, but what is going to enable the others. So there's things we want to do that, really didn't go on the roadmap, but they build on top of the things that are in the roadmap. And so one of them is finding new ways to, either through zero knowledge or other means, to create more interoperability with other networks. As we grow in an ecosystem of, different EVMs and different side chains, and we have more and more of these, and they each have their own ecosystem. Some may have their own tokens, some may be using Telos. But as you grow and you have all these, modular networks that are popping up and being used by different use cases, you also need to benefit from the synergy of all the other networks out there. This is a Web3 world where we're all trying to get mass adoption from the people of Web2, and we're not going to get there if we're not being as open and free flowing with the transactions and the data and the assets and everything as we can be, because people don't want to come into an ecosystem where they're in a silo and they have to pick one. They want to come in and use blockchain for what it can offer them, and they want to be able to do that freely across any ecosystem that has what they want to do. So absolutely a big thing that we want to focus on, and finding ways to do it trustlessly or with as little requirement of trust as possible. So the layer 0 bridge is a good start, and finding ways to do it with zero knowledge technology as well will be as we can find ways to do that, it'll be a huge thing that we want to focus on.
Awesome. We need some new people to learn about Telos in this competitive space. What is the main way that the foundation and TCD plan to do this? Why don't you take that one, Waxa?
Sure. One of the main way the foundation have chosen, for me, the main way is via the Tetika campaign. And I touched on it a little bit before. And one of the main ways we're going to be having a public presence as well alongside this is the lined up events. So there's going to be a series of events, but I can't go into any detail about that. But that's extremely exciting. I think the capability, let's say we do a 10,000 token mint, unconfirmed at this point, might be more. And then we have those 10,000 people all sharing on social media, all interacting with the network. I think there's going to be a substantial increase in interest. Let's put it that way.
Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome. So we've got airdrops, we've got new protocols, we've got new technology, we've got code to write, we've got communities to engage and to merge together. Is there anything else that we plan to do in 2024? Sounds like a lot of stuff.
Launch the big games.
That's right. Big gaming partner, gaming
Yeah.
launcher. I mean, man, it's just so much to do. I'm looking forward to getting my hands dirty.
Let's just say we've got a huge 2024 ahead of us. And let's just save a break over Christmas. I think we're all going to need, because we're going to be all guns blazing in the new year.
That's right. Very good. All right. Well, we're only 6 minutes over the hour. So, gentlemen, it was lovely spending the last hour with you, learning more about Telos. I hope the community has really appreciated the time and has a good idea of what 2024 looks like. And with that, we're going to close it out. Have a wonderful holiday, a wonderful rest of your week. Happy Monday. And we'll see you in the technical deep dives.
Thank you, everybody.
Cheers, guys.